Welcome back, my beautiful friends. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in our Millennial Mom segment brought to us by CCP Digital, we are featuring the awesome Misty Coy Snyder. She's an actor, a writer, a mama, but most important of all, she's a Down syndrome advocate. Now, her younger son, Jedidiah, has Down syndrome. He's 2 years old, but she delights in using her platforms to shine a light on the beauty of Down syndrome and all those who are marginalized in society. She is the founder of Happiness is Down Syndrome, which is a safe haven community where you can be seen, heard, encouraged, and connect within the Down syndrome community. Now, Down syndrome, also called trisomy 21, is the most common chromosomal condition in the United States. A chromosomal condition, also known as a genetic condition, happens when there's a problem in one or more chromosomes. Now, chromosomes are the structure that hold genes, and genes are part of your body's cells that store instructions for the way your body grows and works. Genes are passed from parents to children. About 1 in 700 babies, okay, that's less than 1%, is going to be born with Down syndrome. And many children with Down syndrome, though, will go on to lead healthy, happy, and active lives, contrary to popular belief. They can go to school, they can participate in activities, and enjoy being social with pretty much just about anybody. Now, each person has 23 pairs of chromosomes, or 46 in all. And for each pair, you get one chromosome from your mother and one from your father. But babies with Down syndrome have an extra copy of chromosome 21. And this extra copy changes the way their brain develops and works. And here to chat some more and shed light and educate us is the amazing Misty Coy Snyder. Welcome to the show, beautiful mama.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be here.
Jed, Clay, Braden, congrats to your beautiful family. You are amazing, and Jedidiah is an angel. Misty, I have to say, I was scrolling through IG, and his beautiful face, it just caught my attention. Specifically, it was his eyes. Now, you found out about Down syndrome during your pregnancy in 2020, which was at the height of the pandemic, and you decided to keep your baby. Talk to me about this decision and what that was like for you.
You know, I think anyone would say this being in this position, but it was the last thing I expected. I ended up getting genetic testing done simply because I wanted to know the gender of my baby. And it was taking a little longer than usual to get the results. And one day I received a phone call from my OB and was very excited to find out the gender of my baby, and immediately noticed a cold, sort of dark tone on the phone, almost what you would expect if a doctor was going to tell you you're terminally ill, or, a loved one had died. That's really what it felt like. And I immediately, being very in touch with the emotions of people, could tell she was nervous to speak with me. And she let me know that my baby had a 9 of 10 chance of having Down syndrome. And I would say in that moment, it felt like I was underwater. It felt like, I couldn't hear or feel or think anything. It just sounded muffled, every word that she spoke. And it was like time stood still and I wanted to run away. And so much of that now, 2 years later, I can say is connected with the way that society in general views a difference with our babies, that we think we want a healthy, perfect baby. And anything that sort of strays from that narrative is considered, "Ooh, I don't know if I can do that. I don't want to do that." And the very first thought I had was, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. I'm terrified. And it was just absolute fear. And I'm really blessed that that particular day, my husband was home from work, and I told him, and I just fell at the bottom of the stairs in tears and devastation. And his one sentence of, I said, "Braden, I can't do this." And he said, "Well, this is our baby and we can do this and we will do this." And he simplified it so beautifully in that moment. And I really have never looked back. It doesn't mean that I haven't had hard times, and it doesn't mean that I haven't had confusion and fear and all those natural human emotions. But I immediately got connected to the Down syndrome community. I immediately plugged in. And what I've found in spades is that the narrative that we have around Down syndrome is actually not the truth. are I could go on for days, but
Yeah.
are wonderful.
Your story is absolutely fascinating. I would let you continue speaking, but I have so many questions that I want to just streamline this. So, what are some of the things that can affect your risk of having a baby with Down syndrome?
Well, I mean, they say that as you get older, your risk goes up. And at the time I was 38, so I immediately felt, oh, so much guilt. But being in the New York area, people are having babies well into their
Yeah.
40s, sometimes even 50s, if they're, Janet Jackson. But there really is. They say that the risk factor goes up, but I have a huge group of friends in their 20s and early 30s. I think what's so important to know is that nothing you do causes this to happen. This is I think a tremendous amount of shame and guilt can come over a woman like me, and I just need to say that if you're listening to this, that you didn't do something to cause this.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Talk to me about naming Jedidiah, because the
Yeah.
the only mention of the name Jedidiah in the Bible is found in 2 Samuel
Yes.
12:25. So
Yes.
talk to me about this decision.
Yes, that weekend that I found out, there was a lot of grief, a lot of tears, a lot of sort of sorting through things, and I realized very early on, if I'm going to take this journey on, I need to fully embrace it, and I need to find the joy and the beauty in the journey, and unexpected though it may be. And so I just happened to be reading in the Bible, sort of seeking some hope and encouragement. And it just so happened that I read the passage that you just referred to, where King David had just lost a son, and he went in and to his wife immediately, and they got pregnant and they had this baby, and they named the baby, but an angel of God came and renamed Jedidiah, which means beloved of God. And I knew in that moment, reading that, this child is beautiful and beloved of God. And I have a very strong faith, but it was shaken to the core through this experience. And so it was just a wonderful reminder that he's beautiful, and beautiful the way that he is.
He absolutely is beautiful. And of course, the names Jedidiah and David are related in that the name David means beloved. So you are 100% right. That is the perfect name for him.
Thank
I get
you.
emotional talking about this because as a mom, I can totally feel your passion and your connection to Jed, which is amazing. All right, let's move on with how does Down syndrome affect your child's health and development really quickly? And then I also want to talk about your communication with Jed.
Okay, so I just want to say at the onset that people assume that if a child is born with Down syndrome, they're automatically unhealthy, and that is not the case. There are many, many children who are born with Down syndrome that are exceedingly healthy, more healthy sometimes than a typical child. So I need to dispel that myth. Number two, Jed was born, 50% of children with Down syndrome are born with a heart defect. And Jed did have an ASD, which is a heart defect. However, it was so small when he was born that it's like inconsequential. He's going to go back in 5 years and make sure, but it's inconsequential. The one thing that Jed did face was infantile spasms at 6 months, which is exceedingly rare, exceedingly rare. And we treated it, and he's doing great. And Jed he is a healthy little boy. He's a healthy, joyful little boy. And there are health complications that can come with Down syndrome. That is absolutely true, but it is not always the case. And we live in a day and age where we have wonderful doctors and specialists who can walk you along every step of the way.
Yeah, of course. We are at a very good place
Oh,
with our research, and science is really paving the way here with longer longevity. People with Down are now living way past 60, which is a huge milestone. But let's talk about the best way to encourage others who have a new diagnosis for Down syndrome. We have about 4 minutes left, and I just want to make sure we get that in. And I also want to cover how you communicate with Jed.
oh yes, absolutely. So my passion, if I could put it into a sentence, it would be to encourage parents who are newly diagnosed, because it is the most vulnerable place of the journey, in my opinion. That's been my experience. You don't know what to expect. The medical field often sort of maybe unknowingly or subconsciously puts a cloud over it, and so does society. And so it is my heart to encourage and say that the joy that you will find in this journey is difficult to put into words. It's quite honestly magic. And so many unexpected twists and turns that make your heart just expand and explode. And so my biggest encouragement would be to find a community, find Happiness is Down Syndrome, reach out to me personally on Misty Coy Snyder, and I will be here with you. It is my life's goal to make sure that nobody feels alone in this journey. And it's all going to be okay. It's going to be better than okay. It's going to be joyful and wonderful, and there will be challenges, but that is true for any individual. So I just have to say that.
I'm glad you did say that. And I know in some of your posts, you often referred to the Down syndrome community as a secret garden you were never looking for, but once you found it and entered it, you say that you unlocked the most beautiful discoveries and truths. And I can totally feel that. I know you have a very special connection with your beautiful boy. Talk to me about how you communicate with him, how it's affecting the family in a positive or negative way, and how his brother is also reacting.
Jed is the gift that we didn't know we needed, and it's exactly what you just said. Any family welcomes a child with open arms, but with Jed, there was so many questions that shrouded the whole pregnancy that I was really quite shocked and pleasantly surprised at how much joy he just brought to our family. It just exploded on the scene. My older son just adores him, and everywhere we go is introducing people to him. I had someone early on in my pregnancy tell me, your older son will be a better person because of Jed. And it is 100% true. He works with him and he encourages him. As far as what it's done to our family, I think that it's built the teamwork in a sense that we want to create an environment where he can learn and grow as much as possible. And so we do use sign language. I'm a singer, so I sing to him a lot, and we make up little songs for each activity that we do. And it's really just as you would do with any baby or toddler. You're teaching them language in the world around them. And I think people think that it's going to be so much different with a disability, but it's not. He's a child and he's got a lot to learn, and we're here to teach him.
You are so blessed. You are so blessed, Misty. We're out of time, but I just really wanted to thank you for coming on. I know there's a lot of misconceptions out there. If you can, in less than 30 seconds, what do you think the biggest misconception about Down syndrome is?
Just that it's going to be a burden. It's going to change your life for the worse. It's just not true. There is so much joy to be found. There's so much happiness to be found, and the community that you will find surrounding your baby will blow your mind.
Oh, I see. And I know that every Monday at 9 p.m., you host a free and anonymous chat called Happiness is Down Syndrome. It's a place to share, just listen. It's a place to really find community that is inspired by you and your journey. So I'm just going to direct people to that. But thank you for coming on. You are absolutely incredible. Your little boy is beautiful, and stay blessed.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Guys, you definitely have to check out Misty Coy Snyder. She's on the gram. Check her out at Happiness is Down Syndrome. Check her out at Misty Coy Snyder. Check her out at Circles_support. That was our Millennial Mom segment brought to you by CCP Digital. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. We'll be right back after this.